Howdy, hey folks, welcome to the Wednesday Word. Today we're going to talk about how to get and to give meaningful, actionable feedback on your writing projects. One of the biggest bog down points I see when working with writing between subject matter experts and writers is feedback. It can be really challenging. And we need something beyond, I don't like it, or it doesn't sound like me, or something like that. When you get, I don't like it, man, that one's a knife right to the heart. That one's tough. That one's tough to work with. So when we're confronted with this piece of feedback, how do you get something actionable out of this? How do you turn I don't like it into something meaningful? So to get better feedback, the first thing is, and what I see the most out of folks is there's a bit of panic that hits. I think it's an important point to rationalize and process that emotion, but at the end of the day, they're not mad at you, they're not angry, you're just getting a vague response. And I think the big point out of this is vague answers come from vague questions. They're trying to fill in that gap for us, and we need to help create a more specific roadmap for them to answer those questions. So to get that better feedback, then we need to really interrogate the feedback to begin with. If you've been working with the subject matter expert for a while, you probably know a little bit, right? You've been recording details, tracking their character development, the way they speak and the way they think. And you need to dive into that relationship building part. What have they talked about before? Have they mentioned that voice has been a problem in the past? Have there been other specific concerns they've raised? Go back and revisit the feedback in the context of that. You're also looking for context clues. If they're like me, they're probably really big into Google Comments, right? You're putting in comments in Google Docs or Word, or whichever one you want to use. Specific sentences or ideas are highlighted, right? That's going to be a good context clue for you. That's going to be, hey, something's going on here. We need to take a look, a little bit deeper dive into it. Once you have that nailed down, right, the rationale or the reason or where this feedback is coming from, we really need to follow that up and get some elaboration from our subject matter expert, whether through email or through a collaborative document, think like Google Docs with comments, right? Like I mentioned before, whatever path you think is going to be easiest to get answers from a client, use that and start with a multiple choice question, right? You're saying, okay, something's off here. Is it the central idea that's bothering you, or is it how you sound, how you envision sounding? Providing, again, that first step in that roadmap is going to help unpack that feedback. Instead of, I don't like it, you give them a path to start taking. Then you can start offering some solutions, right? So you're going, okay, the voice felt a little off, right? What if we rephrase the paragraph this way, right? Present them an opportunity to engage more directly. People often struggle to create on the fly, but editing happens much faster. When you give them something else to edit, they're able to better articulate where they want to go. This process is also equally valid on a phone call. In fact, if you've gone through one round of this already, the back and forth, whether in email, Slack, Google Docs, wherever, and you're still not really getting there, offer a 15 to 20 minute phone call. When you have the opportunity to collaborate directly and live, you can usually hammer through any kind of problems you're having. Of course, all of this is true when you're also the one giving feedback, and that's an important piece to remember as well. You've been reading something your team prepared and you're going, this just ain't it. Make sure to ask yourself these kinds of questions first. As you're thinking about delivering that kind of feedback, remember that your team is going to be feeling the same way you feel. Whenever you get, I don't like it, this isn't working. Right? Think about what context clues you can provide, whether it's in an extra comment in Google Docs of, hey, this doesn't really sound like me, here's why I think that, and if you have time, here's a relevant example to help. That may not be applicable in every circumstance, and you don't have to write an essay for every piece of feedback you give, but if you've got something that might take a little bit more than, hey, this is just factually incorrect, provide more information to do that. You can also use an audio tool, so something like a Yak, right? You can record a quick 1 to 2 minute audio note and slap that in there to help provide that context without having to type it out if you don't want to write a whole bunch. You can also use Zoom or Loom or any kind of other pretty much anything that records video you can use to help communicate your ideas better. No matter which side of the fence you're on with this, whether you're the one giving or getting feedback, being proactive with these bits is really the key piece. So if you're looking for feedback on a piece you've drafted, sometimes it helps to offer specific points you're looking for. You can include that in whatever follow-up you're sending with them. So it could be in the body of an email. Hey, here's the piece we drafted based on our communications. Is this tone hitting what you expected it to? Are we hitting that central message? You don't want to come across as if you're lacking confidence, so I wouldn't bury folks in questions, But 2 or 3 or even 4 that really hit upon the main points that you're concerned about are really going to help you hone in that feedback and provide a platform for them to communicate feedback to you if you end up missing the mark. It gives you a common language to communicate across barriers. So give them the opportunity to do that through some quick questions. A lot of this will improve with time as well. As your relationship with your client matures, they're going to know they can trust you to provide that kind of feedback and context, and they can trust that you're listening to what they're saying. That said, if you're noticing that the same kind of issue is arising over and over again, it's probably worth a conversation. There's a piece there that probably needs some reworking. So work together to come up with a common solution. Well, folks, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to leave some questions or other ideas in the comments below this video. Happy to reach out and chat about any of those. And looking forward to next week's video.